Hey Matt, would you grab that sheet out there, that sign-in sheet?
Yeah.
We'll call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Cameron.
Here.
Mallory.
Here.
Simon.
Yes.
Neville.
Here.
Compton. Whitminster.
Here.
Pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, we'd like to recognize some guests that are with us tonight. Mr. Tom Martin is here to speak a little bit further down the line, further down the agenda, and some economic development stuff that's been going on with the town. We also have Roman and Greg Howe. I believe Roman is here for an Eagle Scout requirement. Is that right?
Yeah.
Greg, do you want to elaborate on that and introduce him, or?
Yeah, this is Roman Howe. He's a Life Scout in our Boy Scout troop here in town. What he's here for tonight is a requirement for the Citizenship and Community Merit Badge. He is to attend a meeting, and he's going to take notes and then go back and discuss those with his counselor.
Okay. Thanks for being here, Roman. Appreciate it. And also Michael Moore, here to speak on behalf of Teen Suicide Prevention Initiative.
Yes.
The floor is yours if you'd like.
Okay, right. Just haven't been here before. I come up here to stand up, or
However you want to proceed to it.
thank you for the opportunity for giving me a chance to speak to all of you. I trust everybody had a very good holiday season. My name is Michael Moore. I'm with Serpro. I'm not here to give you a commercial at all. I do the marketing, but part of my job, actually more than half of my job, is community involvement. And I just actually joined the Fargo City Chamber of Commerce Board. I've been working in Clinton, and I went back to my bosses and said we could do more than serve on boards. So I came up with, tried to look at what a really big need in our area is, and I came up with the idea of how we can help with teen suicide prevention. We will be, we're looking to raise $30,000. That's our goal for our first year. And that money isn't going to Clinton or just to Lincoln. It is going to the Mount Pulaski's, Waynesville. It's going to get spread out pretty good. We are having our first board meeting on the 22nd of this month at 6 o'clock at the Vespasian Warner Library. And I am looking for, I guess my ask is, I'm looking for somebody from Mount Pulaski to be on the board. It doesn't have to be somebody who knows anything about, there's a lot of diverse. I've got the chief of police for Clinton, Ben Lowers is on the board. I've got business leaders, got basically what we're going to do is we're putting together a 10K, 5K, and a 1 mile fun run at Weldon Springs on November 2nd of next year. We're also raffling off a car. I can't disclose any more details than that because we're still in negotiations with the dealership. But we have a lot of exciting things, but the board is what gets to decide where that money gets allotted to. I'm just sitting as a chair, I'm a tiebreaker if need be, but I am looking for somebody who once a month would like to come to Clinton and for about an hour and sit on a board. We've got an opportunity to do a lot of good things. The race, not only are we looking at the 10K, the 5K, just an open race, we're also looking at the police departments doing or first responders, I should say, doing a cross-country style race in the 5K. And so we would have awards for all that. And there's already some bantering between Lincoln and Clinton, but we're looking for involvement from everybody. And there's a few other things I can't say yet, but there's actually opportunities to raise money for clubs here in Clinton, such as the Boy Scouts and that. But that's, like I said, still in negotiations. So that's what I'm here for. If you have any ideas, I would love to hear, or somebody would like to step up. You don't have to be a professional in anything. You just care and want to make things better. It's hard to believe, but 3,041 kids, they're talking just teenagers, attempt suicide on a daily basis in the United States. They tell us that 4 out of 5 get very clear warning signals. The problem is that when we all went to school, we talked to each other, so we're good at talking. These kids, they don't communicate the same way. They're buried in their phone, they're buried in their tablet, and the system is inundated. This number is rising pretty quick. In fact, Ben Lowers told me that they deal in not just teen suicide, but suicide on a daily basis in Clinton, and Clinton's a small town. So it's something that we are working really hard for. We would love to have somebody, like I said, if you know someone that might be interested, or yourself, that's what I was here for. So I don't want to take up my time. I know you're busy tonight.
You said it was January 22nd?
The meeting will be January 22nd at 6 o'clock. And we got a whole host from a different, walks of life, but we're looking for someone that can, some energy, if you've got some expertise, we'll certainly use it.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's the 22nd, and like I said, I'll be probably back up to talk to you more, because we have some things, like I said, that will benefit the community in other ways too.
Right.
So
We can definitely put that out there through our channels to see if anyone would be interested in serving on that.
fantastic.
Do you have an official name for the board, or
Yeah,
mission
it's,
statement per se? Or?
Yeah, nope, it's the I Pledge I Matter. We'll be going to the schools. Before I was downsized from AT&T, we'd actually go to the colleges for the Don't Text and Drive campaign, and trying to get one of them involved in anything, a college student, was really tough. But they went nuts over and would listen to us when we just had the little stickers that said Don't Text and Drive, and they were signing up, and they heard us talk, and they actually got engaged at that point in time. So that's what we're looking to do as a side note, is go to the schools with this. And I thought for the race, it'd be really cool for every school to have the kids who, pledge, to get help. They signed this big poster board, and we put them all together from all the schools from Central Illinois and have that out there. So it's taking a lot of thought, a lot of really good minds are working on this, but I wanted to include the other towns that were around us.
Right.
So that's my goal. So,
All right.
thank you so much.
Yep. Approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes and the claims and accounts.
Paying Abbott, $1,565. AEP Energy, $1,542.26. Cameron, Illinois, $2,424.63. Blue Cross Blue Shield, Illinois, $3,150.40. Cat Financial, $1,420.87. CN Railroad, $1,350. Conrady Construction, $2,875. Farnsworth Group, $4,810.26. Holiday Designs, $2,769. IMB $4,412.77. And Jason Wakeman, $632.
Questions on the minutes or claims and accounts?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve consent agenda by Andrew. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Mr. Rentmeister. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Is there any public comments on the agenda items? Officer reports. Tony.
Things are still going pretty good. For a new year, looking ready for another new year here. So things are looking up.
Good. Public Works, Matt.
I have pretty much the same. Things have been going pretty good lately. Mother Nature's been treating us pretty nice for January, that's for sure. I do have one thing, as far as our force main project that force main, our water main extension to Heron Fertilizer. Our bid opening has been scheduled for January 21st at 10:30 in the morning here at City Hall. That's pretty much what I have.
Matt, how do we make sure that whoever needs a bid packet gets a bid packet? Is that up to us, or is that up to?
That is up to Milano Grenville. They set those bid packets. I'm sure they have a conglomerate list of contractors that they send these to. They did not provide me with a list. I can request a list if you would like that.
I'll take the list. I'd like to look at the list.
I can do
Just
that.
to see who all it goes to. Curious, nosy.
I don't know of any other companies around, but if you think of any, let's make sure they get a bid packet too.
Fair enough.
Oh, you had Matt?
Yes.
City Treasurer, Tricia?
Excuse me. I have deposits for the last, actually almost 4 weeks, $43,625.14.
Any questions for Tricia? Old business, I could not think of any unless someone can think of something. On to new business, first item would be, since we have a new alderman, I need to rearrange the committee appointments, and I have came up with the following. Police will be Knauer and Rittmeister. Streets and alleys will be Rittmeister and Neville. Water and sewer will be Neville and Palmquist. And finance will be Maxheimer and Emmerich. Repeat those if you need to. I believe I need a motion to approve the committee appointments. Motion by Aaron, second by Joyce. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, the next item is the ordinance change on the Economic Development and Planning Board. And Tom, you can jump in anytime if you need to. From the talks of it, we did have one person that resigned, so we will have to fill that spot to have the 5 that was originally decided upon in the ordinance about what the board would consist of. We've been talking about how that board might need to be moved to 7 members. The workload seems to be getting quite a bit, especially with the monies coming in, and since there are funds available to do stuff with and to develop with, you know, the workload gets heavier. So along with expanding 2 more members to make it 7, there was also talk about expanding the area. In the original ordinance, it says that it would be the Mount Pulaski Township. Just from talking to people and people who have input on it, you know, that area might be bigger. You know, just because we get someone that's outside of the Pulaski Township doesn't mean that they might have a good insight or can benefit from the development of Mount Pulaski. These are all things that'll have to be put in you know, in a proper ordinance change form. I plan on doing that at the next meeting, having that ready for approval. But right now, I was just gonna open up for discussion about what your guys' thoughts are as far as expanding the board and, you know, and also expanding the area with outside of the Mount Pulaski Township, whether we made it a strategic area of development or, you know, expanded as far as the Mount Pulaski School District. You know, that's a fairly simple border that might work. What's anybody's thoughts? Or Tom, do you have any thoughts you want to add before? Yeah.
One is expanding from 5 to 7. It's a request that we've made as a board. We're being overwhelmed with the duties that have been put upon us. I mean, there's so many things that are happening right now. And our 5-member board, what's happened is that if 1 or 2 people can't make a meeting and you get down to 3 people and you're trying to make decisions on spending $40,000, $50,000 or this or that, it doesn't make sense to us. We need at least 7 people, so there's always a good group, hopefully 5 people there to make good decisions and keep everything moving forward. We had some times this past summer and into the fall to where we canceled 2 meetings and we had 3 people at a couple other meetings. We went 4 or 5 months. And for me as a board chairman, if I only have 3 people there, I have a group of 5, it's, even though we can legally make decisions, it's really hard to move forward without having a core group there. So I truly believe that 7 is a no-brainer. This thing is really, I mean, we've got our first donation from the contribution from the wind farm, and that's in the bank of $250,000. We continue to get 1% sales tax in. There's so much happening that it's not going to help us continue to move things forward, but it gives us more opinions and more ideas, and that's always good to have. From the standpoint of expanding the zone and area, it's not going to change, I don't think, how we spend our money or where we can spend our money. The 1% sales tax still only can be spent within the area where the business map is, and the wind farm contributions can only be spent within Mount Pulaski Township. But what we've learned through a lot of our discussions and reaching out, Mount Pulaski used to be a regional area. I mean, when the hardware stores are here and our businesses were all here and the square was full, Illiopolis, Latham, Warrensburg, Beeson, Chestnut, Cornline, we were kind of a southern Logan County area, and we've not become that anymore. And we've had a lot of people reach out to us from those areas. They go, man, we're excited about Mount Pulaski becoming a hub again for business and things. And I think it'd be really important to have their opinion on how we're developing what we're doing, but also it enables us to make a contact with that community and a relationship with that community. So I don't know how you do it. I think the school, it's the first time I've heard it from the school side, that would be very plausible. Another thing I think is to think about is we have some business owners here. You know, Mount Pulaski everybody used to live in town. I think from the standpoint of having somebody who has a business established here and owns a business in the community, but they don't live here, still has a really good tie to what's going on here and has a vested interest in the community. So I'd also consider that, at least discuss that there's some business owners that I think could really help us as a community and help us as a board, if you want to look at that end of it too.
I looked at it a couple ways. Like I said, I don't have anything formal proposed yet. You know, the one thing that I think about is if we do the school district, then that still misses out on people that own a business in town that have great insight. You know, an option that I just thought about just now as you were speaking about that is we could eliminate any geographical requirement whatsoever. That would be another way to look at it. That way it's wide open for however we want to proceed.
You know, we're not in a rush.
Right.
As much as I'd like to have 7 people there at our meeting, to me, if we really think it through and come up with, you guys discuss it, debate it, come up with the best proposal, to get people on there for us, you know, if maybe by midsummer at least, that we'd be able to grow that board, that'd be fantastic.
In anticipation of going to 7 members, unless somebody has an objection to it, could we, when we first did this, we kind of asked who was interested in, and asked them to, you know,
Yes.
send something in, could we do that again, and then we could, I don't know, if we have several good candidates from outside, and we look like that is a really good thing, and I'm all for, you know, removing the geographic requirements, but if most of it comes from the town, I'm sure, I don't know, not that I'm against it, but just
As far as the geographic
Yeah,
requirement, yes.
yeah,
I see what you're saying.
see who's interested.
And I've been working on, I got a rough draft of that statement of interest. I was planning on having that prepared fully for our board meeting next week, and then putting that out. I plan to change the ordinance in 2 weeks from now, but if there's no rush, you know, we can take a step back and have a couple meetings and think about it. Maybe just get out that statement of interest, maybe not put any,
I
don't
mean,
put any
first, if people
specific
step forward-
requirements, because you almost gotta put the requirements in the, you know, to put out, we were accepting statement of interest, you almost have to put the requirements in there, that way they know who can and can't apply, but we don't have to.
Here's what I think, I've been approached by 2 or 3 people who fit the requirements now, they're probably gonna put applications in, so that could take care of the short term. So then it makes it long term, if we wanna change it or not, you know, and make it a wider geographical area or whatever. But if we can, you know, if we have people who fit the criteria now, that's gonna solve the situation pretty quick and help us out. And from what I hear, we have 2 or 3 people who are gonna probably put an application in relatively soon, so.
Anybody have any thoughts?
I think school district boundaries is a good starting point if we don't have any sort of restriction.
Right?
Because that, you know, mirrors, you know, everything for our community is kind of bound around the school, and the library boundaries, it mirrors the school district. To me, that seems like a reasonable area.
Reside in a
If we
school-
choose to have a geographical restriction.
Right, would you guys say like reside in the school district or own property within the school district? Or, cause you could get it doubles your audience, that's for sure. Maybe not double, but there's people that own, you know, that would also give our business owners that live outside of the area a chance to maybe apply if we thought that was something that was worthwhile. Yeah,
Anybody that pays tax to the town gets skin in the game, so.
very true. We're in the school district, so. Well, it seems like we'll get something together to start looking at, definitely 7 people. And as a rough draft, we'll do we'll think about maybe changing the geographic requirement to, reside or own property in the Mount Pulaski School District. Does everyone think that's a good starting point, or anything else to add for anybody, or?
The only other thing that crossed my mind, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but if we're gonna add 2 members, we could say that 2 of the members could be from anywhere, and stick with, like, leave requirements on the other 5. Just a thought, like,
Right.
that's good enough.
One we need to fill immediately. What's your thoughts on that, Tom? Should we do that at the next meeting, or?
If you have an application and they qualify.
I've been given one to me.
Alright, again, if they qualify and you think they'd be a good person, I just don't wanna
Right.
fill the number. But if you guys think they're qualified and they would help us, I mean, you guys understand that that's your responsibility,
Right.
then yeah. If we have a qualified person, the more the better.
What's everybody's thoughts on, you know, doing the 3? If we have a vacancy for sure to fill no matter what. If we do decide to make it to 7 people, should we fill all 3 of those vacancies at once? We'll go ahead and try to get the ball rolling on filling that 5th seat.
I'm leaning
that's-
towards all of them at once. Otherwise, you're gonna be preferring somebody over 3 other
Right,
people.
or
that
fastest
apply.
person,
Yes,
for
yes.
fastest person to get the application in that fits the current requirements.
We can get by for a while.
Okay,
All right,
okay, we'll do it that way.
right, Tim?
Yes, without me.
Okay, while we're on economic development, Tom, did you have anything else to add, or?
Yeah, always.
Okay, I'd like to, before we move on to the zoning, I'd like to get all that stuff out.
Yeah, right, and the first thing is, I wanna make sure that we haven't made it back here for a while, we're trying to get in the habit that we've been so overwhelmed with stuff, is having somebody here all the time. I mean, you guys are our partners in everything going on, and we need to make sure that we're answering your questions. So if you hear something out in the community, that you know exactly what's going on, and we're trying to make sure that we do a better job of that. Some of the things that are going on, and first of all, you guys are welcome. Anytime you want to come in and sit in on one of our meetings, I think it'd be fantastic to have you there. To come in just even part of the meeting to see what we're doing and what we're talking about and how we're conducting business. Some things I want on your radar screen as time goes forward here is, we're beginning to talk about and look at purchasing some properties. Or bring to the board, the council, that there's properties available around the town square and around the community that we think is a possibility we could purchase and help get developed the way we want to develop, not somebody else buy it and turn it into a storage facility or this or that. We have some ideas and we have some connections, so we're walking down that path a little bit, and Matt knows that we're looking at some properties, and so I want you guys to be aware so that you're questioning that a little bit on us, and when we nothing's gonna happen without your approval. So we'll always come before you, but we are starting to look at some of that. So I want you to know about that. We had a fantastic meeting last Thursday night about our town square revitalization. Two things are really moving forward rather quickly, and one is the town square revitalization. We probably had over 65 people at the meeting last week, which for our little community and all the meetings that we've all been part of, it was a great turnout. We had the architect engineer come that we are looking to hire to do an overall plan for us for our town square. So at this point, we're going to, at next Monday's meeting, we'll be discussing whether we're gonna hire him or not to develop a plan for us. And we'll discuss that. He's gonna come to us with a proposal. And then what we'll do, if we vote that in, then we're gonna look to putting a 10-person steering committee together from around the community and around the area to start working on that and develop a plan that would hopefully be put in place by 2020. We're gonna try and take probably the whole year to try and put a plan together for the most important things around the square. And that includes the concrete wall around the courthouse, it includes sidewalks, it includes identifying businesses or properties that are owned but not being utilized. But that's what this steering committee is meant to do, is kind of put together a plan. And what we're trying to do is come up with a business plan for our town square, instead of letting just, hopefully somebody buys a business here or buys a business there. We want a common theme, we want a common plan, that we can sit down and help them develop that plan and put this whole package together ourselves. So that's really, I know Andrew was there and Matt was there, Greg was there, Trish was there. I think, we were all very, very excited about what was going on and what we heard there. So, hopefully we'll be able to come back in another month and report that we're putting a plan together and putting a steering committee and have that steering committee together. Another item that has been high on our list, number one on our list actually, is trying to get a co-op back into Mount Pulaski. We hear it from everybody. We know it's vital to our community. We've taken 2 steps forward and 1 step back for about the last 16 months because it's so hard to get a handle on what's going to work. But what we have found out that 80% of the communities in our country, under 5,000 people, don't have a grocery store anymore. So you have to become a little bit creative on what we're going to do. So we'll probably never have a grocery store like we've had in the past. We'll never have 3 or 4 grocery stores like we used to have. But I think a co-op is probably the way we're going to, or a path that we can go down that can be successful. And so we are within a month or so of developing another steering committee for that co-op, of trying to put something together to get a food co-op back in our community. And we think it's doable, but the community would have to buy into it. There'd be shares, sold among everyone in our community, and the communities have to buy into that. One thing we talked about at Thursday's meeting is we can come up with the best scenario, best ideas, but if the community isn't going to get involved and buy into what we're trying to do, it will not work. And so we have to really sell our community on all these things, and they're going to have to want it. We continue our business grant program, which hopefully you've seen some of the improvements around the square. We've granted about $35,000 to date, and it was one of the areas that we deemed really important, and we get money back into the community right away. And I talked to 2 or 3 business people today, and they said how important they think that is, that money is coming from the 1% sales tax, and it's getting put right back into our town. And we're seeing improvements. Most of it's all in the town square. Some of it's been down at Fraser Park. Some of it's been for Christmas on Bigger Hill for advertising. But we're trying to get that money back in the community in small grants that people apply for and that we approve. And you guys have seen them all. They all come before you guys, so you guys know it as well as what we do. So that's kind of an update on what we're doing. What I'm going to tell you is this next year is going to there's going to be a lot of things coming in front of you, this council. We have made the determination that we are going to move forward, and we're going to study it and use every bit of our energy to come before you with our best proposals of how we think we can move this community forward. We're not always going to be right, all right? But you guys have to be engaged with us on this. You have to understand what's going on, and if you don't understand, please ask questions so we're all on the same page. And I don't care whether you vote yes or no on items. I just want you to understand what you're voting on, okay? Because we're going to disagree sometimes. But right now, we have the opportunity most small towns would die for. And if the other donation comes in, contribution from the wind farm, that'll give us over $350,000, along with the 1% sales tax. It's about almost $100,000 a year, close to that. We're not going to spend it on everything's not going to be a winner, but hopefully we can be 70-80% right, and in 5 years we can look back and say we've really improved the community, increased our sales tax revenue, brought people in to live in the community. Our schools are growing, but what I ask you guys is to be engaged and to ask questions. If we aren't explaining things right, please hold us to it and ask us to explain a little bit better. So.
What about the paper, city paper?
Yeah, it's on our list. It's on our list. We've been inundated with that. We've reached out to where, again, it may not be the same city paper that we're used to. We're used to a paper every week. We went to a paper every 2 weeks. We've got people who, we definitely think we can go online with some things, but that doesn't serve everybody because they want hard copy. So we're looking at not only online, but we're also looking maybe at a monthly right now. But we're also trying to identify if we can do something on a bi-weekly basis and get somebody involved there. We know it's important to people, and we know it's an important outreach for our community. It just came up, and it's on our list, but it's kind of, it's down the agenda right now, but we know it's an important item. So, great. Thank you.
Real quick, Tom, just to skip down because most of the other business was covered. The website training, I'll go ahead and speak about that now. The training is on this Friday, January 11th from 10 to 12 p.m. We were unable to secure the proper projector and equipment to do it here in town, so it's going to be on site in Bloomington. I encourage everybody that wants to go to go. The more the merrier. I think I'm going to be able to go. I believe Tim's going. Andrew, are you going to be able to make it? Or I know you had some interest in it. Yeah. Okay. We plan on leaving here around 8:45. Kelly, I know that's a lot to throw on you with your work, if you can make it. It's from what I talked to Hillary about. not everybody has to go to this, because if you're only gonna be doing certain small things, you know, for your role in the city, it shouldn't be that hard for us to teach you how to do that as well. So, it's entirely up to you. Like I said, that's this Friday from 10 to noon. We'll leave around 8:45 from here at City Hall, so.
I will follow that up, Matt, with one more thing. We've heard a lot about the website. It went live, all right, in maybe mid-December or so. And the old website, Mount Pulaski website, which was Phil Bertoni's, got taken off. That was not the intent at the time. We'd hoped to keep both online and work together until we were set. We're not happy with how our website looks, okay? This training session is gonna allow us to, how we're gonna be able to take care of it ourselves, and that's really important. And so, I've heard a lot, and I'm sure you guys maybe have heard bits and pieces about it, but we aren't happy. We like the structure of it, but we aren't happy with the content. And that's normal, but I think that we're gonna, because of this training session, we're gonna be able to get it up to par, hopefully give us a month to get up to par. I think it'll be a really workable and achieve what we wanna achieve with spending the amount of money we spend on this website, so.
I'm gonna skip down because most of this other business got taken care of. The community meeting, any other questions about that? Tom explained how that went there last night, or, yeah. Basically said everything I was gonna say about it, about how the turnout was good and what was discussed. Following up real quick on Daryl's, while we're on this topic, following up on Daryl's question about the newspaper, I was gonna bring up the idea of a community newsletter. It's got mentioned from time to time, but you know, about just looking into what it would take. I know that there's certain things that we're gonna, regardless of whether there's a paper or not, there's certain things the city's gonna have to relay to the public by law. Right, as far as like, you know, when the budget comes out, we have 30 days to give notice. Our water quality report, you know, there's just certain things that this city's gonna have to communicate with its residents, regardless of what newspaper's here or not. So, any type of public notice, city updates, I was maybe looking into maybe making this a paid position. I know that there's several small towns in the area that put out a village newsletter or city newsletter once a month. You know, $100, whatever it is for them to prepare that. So, just in the beginning stages of that, what's everybody's idea on that? Just to get going before, you know, until we know how this paper thing's gonna turn out, if we're looking for other people, or yes, Darryl?
There could be a chance that the English class would get on this project.
Could be, that's a good point.
I'm totally in favor of the newsletter though. I think if, you know, if we have to pay somebody to do it, that's money well spent.
Right. Question for, you know, Matt might know, I know the people on the Water and Sewer Committee might know, or, you know, the whole idea is if you're gonna mass mail something to the people in this town, you just give it to the city because they send out the water bills anyways. It's really not that easy, is it? I mean, aren't those things printed?
The process is streamlined, like we print out the cards, we tear the cards apart and we mail them. Like we don't have to put things in envelopes, we
There's no
don't have to put
labels.
stamps on them, there's no labels. I guess streamlined for sending cards. I don't know any other alternatives yet, but.
Right.
That's how that is.
Do we know about, so, you know, if it's 48 cents no matter what does it cost us to out the water bills each month, postage wise? Do we have, I mean, sure we can find that number. Is anyone else out
It's
there?
like 28 cents.
For just a card, and it'd be 48 for a letter. How many, we have 867,
Water customers usually on average about 850.
850.
When,
And those are 28 cents?
Yeah.
2/11, we had the big celebration, and we made several mailings, and someone told us you can't get discount mail. And we went to Springfield and talked to the guy at the main office. We got 12 cents in the mailing. So no doubt with this much, I don't see why we couldn't get it.
Right. So we can approach the, approach the post office about it.
I think getting the newsletter put together is the hard part, getting it mailed
Yes,
is.
getting it put out wouldn't be that bad.
There's
We
some
could
way.
get that done somehow. That'd be the least of our worries, okay.
There's even companies that you can pay they'll print them, put them in envelopes and mail them all together.
And yet,
I had, excuse me, I had heard the other day about a group, South Shores Publishers, and they take care of the Sherman, Williamsville, and several other small towns with some kind of publication. If you'd like, I'll check further to see a name, but it was mentioned to me, and I don't know anything about it, but South Shores Publishers, down, or rather Chatham, Auburn.
yeah. I mean, we're open for anything, so, I mean, if it's gonna be some type of paid position, whether we pay the
Right.
English class or we pay, whoever to do it.
Hey, Matt, one thing is, that paper also serves as our connection to people all around the country.
Exactly,
That
we're
from
only
here.
gonna have
We think
access
about
to the
Mount
water
Pulaski,
customers.
but we have a tremendous amount of people who we reached out to with that, and so when we think about it, we need to consider that also.
Yes,
Yeah.
because those 850, if we were to just send it to the people who have city water, that 850 wouldn't reach much outside, obviously not much outside of our town here, so, okay, very good stuff. Okay, I think that's everything as far as that's concerned on development. Okay, the zoning stuff that we got going on here shouldn't take too long. We'll just go in order here with the zoning request. Alex Deppie has contacted me, if you wanna get this is the map that's got the what zoned what. There's some discrepancies on it. This was made in 2009 by Rockford Map Publishers. The area in question is right to the west, the property directly west to the Farmer's Family Restaurant, which is kind of down here in the Crevy along that railroad track. If you can kind of eyeball about where the Farmer's Restaurant would be on McDonald Street. It would be on the, that would be the north side of the railroad tracks. And this kind of goes into the second thing, with the email with Will DeAndrea. It doesn't say right there in that corner why is there blue lines there, but then it doesn't have like a B1 right here. You guys see what I'm saying? There's really no way to tell. You can see it better on here. There's really no way to tell what this little area is zoned from this map. There's blue lines like it would be a different zoning, but there's not an A1, B1, R1, N2. Does anybody know, Daryl, Joyce, were you guys older than when this map was made, or
That's
2009?
the nursing home, is it?
No, the nursing home's up here. This is on the south side of town. The farmer's restaurant would be like right there, and his property that he bought is directly to the west. He was looking in to get a rezone for business. He wants to put his truck shop there, semi-truck shop there.
What about, can people that don't own, the property, if they're just renting, they can't change this?
No, he owned the property. He closed on it. So,
That was a middle.
yes, it was
Yes.
a Middlesex property. I believe they've already started doing some work to it.
They have.
Yes.
So it's in the same area there as the restaurant is, which is a business also, so I'm guessing, I assume that
I
that
just-
was business.
I'm just assuming they forgot to put a B1 here in this little.
Either B1
What do
or
you think,
M1, because at one time you had that molasses plant there.
Right?
You also had the fertilizer company out there. where-
Right, so to me, there's no way that his property is not already zoned in some type of business form.
Yes.
Okay.
All of this leads to the deeper question of how do we,
I've been talking with Will on that, so.
yeah, but even like the stuff that he has, he got from
I know.
us a while back,
I know.
and not of all that is up to date.
So moving on from the zoning request, I think Alex is safe. We'll go ahead and do what he needs to do. If you wanna go to the first one that's got those are the parcels, if you wanna go to that one. And obviously you can see on the bottom right-hand side, there's number 2 and number 4. it cut off, but the numbers 1 and 3 are these lines up here on the right-hand side pointing to those parcels. Do you see that? So there's 4 properties in town, according to Will, that are zoned within the city boundaries, but do not pay corporate city taxes. Not sure how. The only way to look at, to get to the bottom of it is to see when that part of the city was annexed and exactly what properties were annexed on it. From what he said, you fill out the right forms and they will begin to pay corporate taxes. Their taxes, I also believe, will not increase, just the distribution of them will change. Oh, you on tax law? Look into it.
So at least for the one in the upper right,
That property's outside town.
right, but the way, are you talking about like the fact that it's in gray?
Well, it's all kind of, it's got an arrow pointing at it. You see what I mean? So that area that's in gray, according to Will's information that he has, is the city limits. The map obviously doesn't show the hotel. I couldn't get it to print correctly, but it printed the 4 parcels that are in question of the matter at hand of why they're not paying corporate taxes.
And what's Will working off of?
He works for the Logan County.
No, where's his information to say that his information said this is in the?
You know, I've spoken with him on the phone a couple times, but mainly what's in the email is about
It came from us.
PDF.
Oh, okay.
So like, I know some of these things, Laura provided him information when she was here, when things were changed.
Right.
But it's not, all of the information comes from us. He relies on us to tell him what is what.
So he has what Laura gave him years ago.
Yes, I believe that's
So
what
we
he's
can
working
kind of
off
use that
of.
to backtrack and figure out where we want to be, I guess.
As far as that property though, you could probably, I think, I don't remember the name of the place there, but you could probably ask her, like, do you? Cause I know when I talked to the, Fred Lip, he was like, yeah, we annexed in whatever, such and such date.
Okay.
So she might have the same information.
Yeah.
Number 4, yes, number 4 is Barry's shop. That's what I see too.
Well, he told me that.
Right. So from what Will said, I guess the first step would be to go to the county clerk's office, look at the addresses of these properties, and it'll give a description as far as whether or not it was annexed or not. He said to start at the clerk's office. For the discrepancies that we have, Tim, would you agree? I know
I
some
would agree.
No.
Yeah, completely. You know, the second one right above it, 4, you know, that's a substation. I don't know why that's in the city, but it is. You know, so,
Oh, that is the Casimir station, isn't it?
yeah.
What's he put? He wrote it as being under the jurisdiction of the city.
Yeah.
So unless we can find the annexation documents. Okay. I'm just trying to get advice on this because I just started this process with Will a couple weeks ago, and obviously I'm bringing it to your attention. Do you want to see all this? I probably should have gave this to you too. Jordan, I'm
We
sorry.
can talk afterwards.
Gotcha. I kind of printed this off last night. And might as well get the other map out because this is what he says does not match up zoning wise. From what this map is, the one we did in 2009. I haven't got a chance to really look at what he's talking about, but we'll see. He's got right on the bottom right-hand corner says unsure of the boundaries. That's because there's not really a B1 in that corner that we looked at.
Yeah, this is R1, that's B1.
Same as this right here. It looks like that.
Well, this could be B1, there's just not a mark there, but I don't know.
Is the one like this that he emailed, is it in color, but it's just a black and white for printing purposes?
It's colored. The only thing that's different colored is the. Yes, it's in black and white. Like the B ones are in blue, the R
Okay.
ones are in yellow.
Okay. So Berry's has a zoning designation, but on the other map it shows it's not in the city. Is that, am I reading that correctly?
That's the way I see it as
Okay.
well. It's zoned residential. That would be. In the zoning map, it's zoned residential. From the way I read it.
That's kind of screwy, but.
Yeah, he's got a business there, that's what I mean, we need to get this stuff cleaned up.
Exactly.
Does the zoning board keep, I know they don't maintain a map, do they have like, I guess a list of past changes?
They haven't been in many meetings, but you're right that they should have in the ordinance it says there's gonna be a master map somewhere, and I think nobody knows where the master map is, so, like Matt said, we're gonna have to come up with get this cleaned up and say this is where we're at with everything.
I believe there's also an annual requirement that the map be published, so
Yeah.
something to consider.
I think we meet the publishing requirement on, like, that's what Will Andrea, like, he publishes it, and that's how we meet that requirement. Yeah, you're correct.
Right.
Well,
Well,
I'd have
do
to
we
look
just,
at the fine print, but I think it might be only yearly if there is changes. I wanna look at the fine print again, but there's a specific code section on yearly publication, and you can charge to offset your publication costs and stuff, so.
And having it available on the website, is that quote unquote publishing in that
I-
world, or
this map is
without looking
available.
at it?
This map is
specifically?
available on the website.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Because looking at DeAndrea's stuff earlier today, I don't think there's anything for Pulaski zoning on there. Is that what you came up with?
No, he was wanting to get a map, and I led him to our website, which had a link to this map.
Exactly,
which is
the
the one we have,
2009
which
one,
is
yes.
that one,
Yes.
that's the most recent one that I'm aware of.
That's the only one I'm aware of too. That's the most accurate at this day.
He reached out to, well, one, because of the zoning questions, and there's a lot of the GIS stuff he's been working on that Pulaski just hasn't gotten.
No, yeah,
We're one of
because
the
there's a
few
whole bunch
communities
of,
left.
there's like 4 or 5 communities for Logan County that he's got information on, and
Yes,
unfortunately
and we're
we don't
missing
have
ours. He's looking to make a ward map, which the ward map that I sent him, according to our ordinances, is different than the one the county clerk's got on file. So I was gonna give that to Jordan to confirm that map. He hasn't gotten it to me yet. For some reason, when I clicked on that link, it made me sign in to ArcGIS. So he was supposed to fix that. But, once we get those boundaries according to what it says in the ordinance book, we can give that new updated copy to the county clerk and have them have that on file, because the last time it came up, we noticed that there was a discrepancy in the one, you remember that, Andrew? Right about the time that the election packets came out. So we'll get that fixed too. He also has a GIS map for the Logan County commercial. It's not on that email, it's a different one. But yeah, at the bottom, these are links to the other maps that he has for us. He's got a map for the TIF and the countywide enterprise zone. He gave us those links, we could add those to our website if we wanted to. Where we're determine where we want to put them on our website, but the link's free. He wouldn't charge us anything for that link, and we can put that into also the ward map, a color-coded ward map. You can do all that stuff for free, and then we can put that on our website, and people can click on it and look at our maps. So that's there.
Did he have a copy of the business district map? I thought he showed that commission.
He probably does, but I wasn't talking to, we haven't spoken about the business district. Hopefully there's no discrepancies there.
See, that should be the easy one.
Yes. So I guess we just start with the clerk. Like I said, I'm just bringing everybody up to speed. Obviously, this is something that everybody needs to be aware of what's happening. Get a hold of Teresa and probably have Mr. Klein here look into what the best course of action might be. And what, get a new map that's got it listed what it is?
We want to figure out what it is.
Yeah, we need to figure out what it is first. So, judging by that zoning map, unless anybody has a problem with, with we think that corner there is business, I'm gonna go ahead and tell Alex Deputy to proceed as he has the city's permission to open up a business there. Does anybody see a discrepancy in that? Okay, I will let him know that. Okay, any other questions or ideas on zoning? I know it's a lot, but it's something, I don't know if it's just we've been putting this in the future and not getting it done or what, but I'd like to see, try to work on this as much as we can with Will and get this stuff cleaned up, so. Okay, should be the last item is the zoning board. While we're talking about zoning, the zoning board is short, I believe 3 members, Tim, is that correct?
Yes.
So, if anybody has any names, I don't know if we should really put out a statement of interest the way we will the economic development board for this in the same fashion. I think it could be more of, their job only entails certain things that entails the zoning, so I don't know. It could just be something, you guys recommend somebody and we can get them appointed. For all I know, the zoning board may do 2 things over the next 10 years. They might do 20 things over the next 10 years. But it's pretty cut and dry about what their powers are in the ordinance book, so we'll proceed with trying to fill that board as well. Like I said, 3 members. Does anybody have any names off the top of their head, or if you do, you can let me know after the meeting. Anyone that's shown any interest in getting involved in our wonderful civic government. We get volunteers for all this stuff all the time.
Can we just randomize it?
Yeah, we could.
Just pick an address?
Pick one of our water customers.
Like a draft?
Ordinance violation, you have to serve on zoning.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, that's all I have. Does anybody else have any other business?
Under other business, I don't know, I can hear on the meetings online, I can hear them okay, but some people have difficulty hearing, and I wanted to discuss if we thought it was a good idea to buy better microphones. It'd be $2 to $3, maybe $400, unless somebody knows of a better way to do it. That's what it would cost to get either a few microphones to sit around or a couple things from the ceiling or something. Is that a good use of money, or is that I don't know. What do people think?
Matt, did you have
Question for Andrew. I should know this, I installed the camera, but I didn't read all the details about it. Is there a port for an external microphone on that camera?
Excellent question.
And if there is, why don't we, from the ceiling, make us just suspend a little, I'm not talking obviously a big microphone, but something that's, in the center of the room.
Yep, that's exactly what I looked into. It's $200 for one that hangs and doesn't just listen straight ahead, and then it won't plug into our camera. It has to have another box to power it with, and that's $100. So it's not in the $20 category. I'm welcome to input though if we think that's a good use of funds.
But how many views are we getting on it? I should know, again, because I look at it from time to time.
Our last video had 154 views, but that could be one person clicking forward and they go back and they click forward and go back. That all counts as views. I have no idea. That's why.
Well, it's better than
That's
5.
part of the reason I asked for comments to see how many people there are. And obviously Joyce had a few questions, so maybe there's a few more. I don't know. If I had to guess, I would say a dozen people solid watch it, maybe as much as 20.
Well, I'm kind of wondering with our current situation with not having a newspaper, this would be hopefully looked at a little more frequently.
You know,
I mean, I can't prove that,
Right,
and
we might
who's
not
gonna
have
be
given
able
it the time to
to,
develop yet. I mean, what we've been doing for 6 months.
Yeah.
If we're gonna give it some time to develop, then I think there's no problem with spending another $400 or $500 to make it better.
Okay. I will,
Yeah. Watch us live.
I'm gonna mic everybody. All right,
I
that's,
think you're okay to proceed on that, Andrew.
I will proceed. I'll probably order stuff and pay for it myself and then just reimburse, if the council approves my reimbursement. You can donate it. Already donated the Wi-Fi. All right, so.
Oh, well, I'm thinking about January 14th, next Monday is the Economic Development Board meeting. Again, I try to remind you guys of those meeting dates. Obviously, it's open to the public, so obviously you're welcome to come.
Then the next one's this is the next Monday, we're having back-to-back
Yes.
meetings, so. Is that the,
That's at the foundation office.
Is the Hilltop Club, is that meeting public?
That's a private club.
Okay.
Any other business? I believe that's all I got. I'll just double check it. Entertain a motion to adjourn. Hold my own. Second by Tim. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thanks for coming. Everybody.
They are hurt.
Oh. I'm Jordan Clancy, attorney. Nice to meet you. Just wanted to introduce myself.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Obviously, they're not part of the community.
Oh, yeah.
There's taxpaying sounds.
right,
So,